Getting started just a little bit early today. We'll wait for everybody to kind of load up a little bit. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if nothing else, I hope you had a little time off just to rest, regroup with all the crazy stuff going on in this world today. God knows we need time to just sort of rest and regroup. Uh, I had a great rest, great time off, did some, just different artwork and things like that. And I don't know if you can, let me just turn this off. I don't know if you can see the thumbnail that came up was of a little rabbit, a little bunny rabbit that said joy on it, and that is for the the holidays coming up, Christmas holidays. And if you're interested, you can see scrolling across the bottom. It says etsy.com/shop/ the spirited crafter. If you're looking for anything like uh, printable Christmas cards, printable holiday cards, printable Hanukkah cards, I have them in my shop. They're very affordable. You can also order the cards if you don't want to print them yourself. You can order the cards, and we have that option there for you. So, time to get that done. I know it sounds like Christmas is so far away, and we all know that that's not true. And as you can see, I already have my house decorated. You can see across the banisters. Part of that, I did that on at the day after Thanksgiving because I want the spirit to stay around a long time because of again things going on in the world. Every now and then we need to just take a break, get away from that, and enjoy the holidays. And no matter what you do, and even if the holidays all you do is just eat healthy, rest, that is great. And we have to always watch out what we eat. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, I made a pecan pie. And let me just tell you, it was not healthy, but it was absolutely delicious. And when I say it's not healthy, we all know that pecan pie has syrup in it and sugar in it, and pecans were healthy. But thankfully, I think I gained maybe a pound because I had just a little bit of something. My husband really wanted a pecan pie, and oh my gosh, I have to say, I don't know if it's because I haven't had a pecan pie in 5,000 years, but it was absolutely delicious if I say so myself. I have a recipe. It's a southern pecan pie recipe. I did a little bit extra putting into the recipe this year, and it turned out great. It really did. So I hope you had a great one too. All right, so let's get back to the serious stuff. Again, this is my health and weight journey, health and wellness journey, and I do research on things that interest me and that I believe will interest you and benefit you, and that's why I bring them out to your attention. Today, we're going to talk about BPA. Hard to pronounce, except when you're saying BPA. So, I want to go ahead and get a little thing started here for you to see on BPA. And then at the end, we'll see if you have any questions. But let me get this going. Here we go. Okay, today we're going to take a look at BPA and ask the question, is it all it's cracked up to be? Now, what is BPA? Bisphenol, I guess that's the way you pronounce it, or bisphenol A, is a chemical produced in large quantities for use primarily in the production of polycarbonate plastics. It is found in various products, including shatterproof windows, eyewear, water bottles, and epoxy resins that coat some metal food cans, bottle tops, and water supply pipes. Were you aware that the primary source of exposure to BPA for most people is through the diet? While air, dust, and water are other possible sources of exposure, BPA in food and beverages accounts for the majority of daily human exposure, as if we weren't exposed to enough already. Now, can BPA get into the body? It can leach into food from the protective internal epoxy resin coatings of canned foods and from consumer products such as polycarbonate tableware, food storage containers, water bottles, and baby bottles. The degree to which BPA leaches from polycarbonate bottles into liquid may depend more on the temperature of the liquid or bottle than the age of the container. BPA can also be found in breast milk. Remember, too, like water bottles, how they tell you not to leave those in the car when it gets hot. The plastic, you can see it just sort of the condensation that builds up on that. And if it's not BPA free, then it's a possibility that the BPA is leaking into the water that you in turn will be drinking. Now, there are some signs of the BPA being in some dental sealants and composites, which is kind of a little frightening because, when we talk about things like that, remember when they used to put mercury in things that, in your fillings in your teeth. I know some of you younger adults won't remember that, but if you're, I don't know, past age 50 perhaps, then you will remember getting fillings with mercury and how bad that is for you. I'm not sure that the BPA is on the same level with mercury, but the more that you can reduce negative things going into your body, the negative chemicals, the better off certainly that you will be. Now, human exposure to BPA is widespread, apparently. Some studies show that in 2003 2004, the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, lovely CDC, found detectable levels of BPA in 93% of uh, 2,517 urine samples from people age 6 and older. That doesn't make me feel good. I don't know about you. Now, some animal studies report effects in fetuses and newborns exposed to BPA. Is exposure to BPA harmful? Well, exposure to BPA is a concern because of the possible health effects on the brain, prostate gland of fetuses, infants, and children. It can also affect children's behavior. Additional research suggests a possible link between BPA and increased blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Now, the trustworthy FDA says, however, that the BPA is safe at the very low levels that occur in some foods. This assessment is based on the review of hundreds of studies, and the FDA continues to monitor the research. Wow, you can take that to the bank, I am sure. So, now, how can I reduce my exposure to BPA? Okay, number one, don't microwave polycarbonate uh, plastic food containers, which they tell you not to put plastic in microwave. It's strong and durable, but over time it may break down from overuse at high temperatures. Plastic containers have recycle codes on the bottom, some but not all plastics that are marked with recycle codes 3 or 7 may be made with BPA. Reduce your use of canned foods. Well, that's kind of unlikely. A lot of people do, shop and they buy canned foods, and it's a staple in most people's grocery list. So that's very difficult to do. When possible, opt for glass, porcelain, or stainless steel containers, particularly for hot food or liquids instead of plastic containers. Also, use baby bottles that are BPA free. Use BPA free products. Manufacturers are creating more and more BPA free products. Look for products labeled as BPA free. If a product isn't labeled, keep in mind that some but not all plastics marked with recycle code 3 or 7 may contain BPA, just like we mentioned a second ago. Focus on fresh whole foods when you can. Choose fresh whole foods and vegetables. Sounds like a great idea. So, am I safe if my product is labeled BPA free? Hmm. Well, according to care.com, just because its product is labeled as BPA free doesn't mean it's fully safe to use. In fact, 70% of all BPA free products still leach harmful chemicals into food and beverages. Great. So when you buy your water bottle that says BPA free, you're thinking, oh, that's great. I've gotten rid of all those harsh chemicals, BPA, and I don't have to worry about it. Well, not so much, I guess. The review was carried out to evaluate the physiological effects and endocrine activities of the BPA substitute. So, in other words, if it doesn't have the BPA, what's being put into the product instead of BPA? Well, it's BPS or BPF. And they compared the hormonal potency of BPS and BPF to that of BPA. Research has shown that products containing BPF and BPS contain compounds that may disrupt cellular function, again, even in very small doses, contrary perhaps to what the FDA thinks. Uh, and they say beware of any plastics labeled as number 3 or 7, as they still contain BPA related chemicals. In conclusion, based on the current literature, BPS and BPF are as hormonally active as BPA, and they have endocrine disrupting effects. Something else to be worried about, right? You think that you're eating well, you think that you're buying things that are BPA free and that all is good, but no, here comes along a substitute, BPS or BPF, that could be just as harmful as BPA itself. Now, what is the endocrine system? Let's take a little review. It's a complex network of glands and organs. It uses hormones to control and coordinate your body's metabolism, energy level, reproduction, growth, and development, and response to injury, stress, and mood. Now, what are some of the endocrine disrupting effects? In the last 2 decades, there's been a growing awareness of the possible adverse effects in humans and wildlife from exposure to chemicals that can interfere with the endocrine system. These effects can include developmental malformations, interference with reproduction, increased cancer risk, and disturbances in the immune and nervous system function. So, there again, if you're using either BPA or BPS or BPF as the BPA substitutes, right, that could be in the product that you're buying that says BPA free, you could be subjecting yourself to developmental malfunctions, interference with reproduction, increased cancer risk, and disturbances in the immune and nervous system functions. Not something you want to think about in your food or something that you're drinking. Now, the bad news, it is impossible to fully avoid BPA and to avoid plastic as it has become pervasive in our society. But all you can do is do your best to reduce your exposure to BPA and other harmful chemicals that could be substituted in for removing the BPA. Just when you think that you can, go about your business day-to-day life, eat the best that you can, try to pick everything that you can, good foods, even good canned foods, right? And then you got to worry about what your container is made out of. And they're right. There's so much plastic in the world today. It's absolutely impossible for anyone to avoid BPA altogether. It is amazing because when we think back years and years ago and think about your parents and your grandparents, hey Deb, good morning. They just led a simplistic life as compared to what we live today. They weren't in a hurry. They made meals and they sat down and they ate at the table. Now, was it perfect? No. There were some things there too, of course, but looking at what the topic is for today, they used a lot of glass. Everything was made out of glass containers. You know, your milk was delivered in glass, for God's sakes. Um, Everything, you know, your pie tins weren't tin, they were made out of glass. Your glasses were real glass, right? You drank out of glass. And it seemed like they had less issues with things like that. So, in an attempt of our world to try to make improvements on things and to make you healthier, in a lot of respects, they've made us sicker. And I just love it. You know, we talked about that in the video where the FDA is like, oh, you know, if you take just a little bit of everything, you know, it's not going to hurt you. Yeah, well, that may be true, FDA, but you know, you have, as it said in the video, you have cans that are lined with things that have BPA in them, or the alternatives, right? BPS and BPF, which are also chemicals. So you substitute one chemical for another, and that's, you know, that's really a horrible thing that we're doing. But if we go back to sort of the simplistic things, and that's, I'm telling you, I'm going to harp on this again, and probably every time you hear me, you're going to go, "Oh, I wish you would stop saying that." But when I look at the Mediterranean food plan, I look at how simplistic that is, and how it's foods that people used to eat, you know, biblical times, and it just seems so simplistic. Now, the unfortunate thing is, like with everything, you've got to look and see what they're putting in your food. That's why you want to get organic if you can. And even organic, you can't 100% trust unless you grow it yourself and know exactly how it's done. You can't 100% know what you're eating. But you don't want to get things that aren't organic. You want to get things that don't have the, you know, the everything, like the animals with the I can't say it here because I'm on YouTube, but the M, the R, and oh, of course, the NA. Okay, so you don't want to have that in your food. Hey, Gary, worm casting start a worm farm. Oh, yeah, well, that would be good if you liked worms. No, but Gary, you're correct, and that is a good idea. But I mean, you have to look at things. Uh, you're and Curtis says he's 6'1" and down to 202. Good for you, Curtis. Congratulations. That's great. Let us know what you've been doing to get your weight down. Again, you eat as healthy as you can. You do research on things like BPA and try to limit your use. Now, here, you know, again, I have a water bottle here, right? And it's BPA free. Well, what else is in that water bottle? And again, you don't want to be taking plastic, like plastic water bottles, leaving them in your car so they get hot. And the plastic, again, you can see that condensation on there. You're getting the chemicals right back down in your water, and then you're drinking those chemicals. So the only thing you can do is the best that you can do, right? You try to limit yourself to expose yourself to things that you know are bad for you. And you know, some people may not agree with this, but I say you pray over your food, you pray for good health, and I have seen that work for many, for and for myself as well. And you do that in combination with trying to eat well and picking the right things, and that's all you can do. Hey, Steely Dan, quit smoking after 49 years, 11 months ago. Yay, Steely Dan, congratulations. Boy, I tell you, that's one of the best things that you can do for your health. Quit smoking. Wow. Congratulations. That's a big deal. Salad with cabbage, carrots, and cucumbers. Curtis said that's how he has lost weight. Curtis, do check out the Mediterranean food plan. You don't have to starve. You can eat well, eat great food, and still lose weight. So if you haven't seen those, the podcasts that I've done on the Mediterranean food plan, please go back and take a look at them, and get, you know, we're starting a new year, 2024, coming up really soon before we even know it. Blink of an eye, and here you are. Commit to having a great food plan that works for you. Again, for me, it's a Mediterranean food plan. You might want to take a look at it, and maybe that will work for you as well. Since September of last year is when I started losing weight, I'm down 30 pounds. Okay. I'm not hungry. I'm not starving. I'm probably healthier than I have been in who knows how long. I do take supplements, but I eat well and as great as I can. Uh, Gary said, reach out to the worm people near you. They will set you up for success. Worm people are the best. Now, Gary, tell us a little bit about what we would do with those worm castings. So the people that don't know, put a little bit of description. Curtis says meal prepping helps. Deb says Mediterranean foods. Well, I did bring purple sweet potato to Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, I know, Deb. As I said, I gained like 1 pound, and I'm getting it back off now. I did have that pecan pie that I made, and I'm sorry, I had to have it. It was great. It was worth the 1 pound, but and I don't do that often. Again, you don't have to, punish yourself and not eat something good. You just have to really, really limit those type of things like pecan pie. Uh, the sugars, we've talked about that before. How bad is sugar for you? It's the greatest taste, right? But it's the worst for you. It is not good for your health. So you really do have to limit what you're eating in terms of sweets like that. But again, you don't have to punish yourself. You can have good, healthy food. And the Mediterranean food plan has a lot of desserts that cut down on the sugar and cut down on the fats, and they are delicious. I mean that because I've had them. So hopefully, that you will again make that commitment. Deb said, "I know what you mean, Susan. Now back to eating better. Sugar is the devil's confection." Yeah, I mean it's so bad, and I wish it were better. I really do, because I would love to eat sugar and all the sweet things. It's so great. If I do want a taste of chocolate, I eat the Alter Echo, Alter ECO, Alter Echo, or Eco, whichever one you want to say. It's better chocolate, and the darker the chocolate, the better it is for you. If you can say, better, it has less of the things that you shouldn't have. So anyway, just letting you know that. And also, again, for those that may have come in late, scrolling across the ticker, you'll see that's my Etsy store, my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/, the spirited crafter. If you're looking for anything for Christmas, like Christmas cards that you can print yourself, I have those Christmas cards that you can order. I have those too. And anybody who's looking for a Hanukkah, I have Hanukkah cards and Hanukkah table runners and even Hanukkah blankets. And I mean, it's a lot of stuff over there. But, order now. It's November. Get that stuff to you as quickly as possible. But it does take time. And let me know what you think about it if you go over and look at things that we have over there. So, any questions or anything before we go? Dark chocolate, 85% is not bad, Deb said. Yeah, yeah. And I don't like dark chocolate, but I've learned to love dark chocolate because of the fact of the health benefits in it. So, and it tastes great to me now. It didn't before because I had a choice. I could have milk chocolate, which really wasn't good at all. But you live and you learn. And again, as you might remember when I was telling you, I was pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, and so I didn't think I was eating that badly, but I guess I was because things weren't working out well, and I kept gaining weight. So I'm not gaining the weight until I can overindulge like I did with the pie, and that was about a pound, thankfully. And now I'm back to eating well, eating clean, as they say, eating organic food and things that don't have bad stuff in them that we shouldn't have. All right. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for watching the replay later on. For those who come in later and watch that replay, thank you for sharing. Want to get out information so that you and everyone else can lead a healthier life. Matt is grow the worms on a larger scale, but not the biggest, but lots of info. Gary's talking about the worms again. So check out the what Gary was talking about in getting the worm castings and what they could be used for. So if anybody's interested, I'll look it up, and if it's something I think that would be of value, maybe we can do that for next week. Deb said, but I love dark roast coffee, so that helps. Yeah, I only drink decaf coffee, and in the decaf coffee, I only have organic decaf coffee. So, and I think we've talked about why organic is really the way you want to go rather than just having decaf. It's the way that it's brewed and decaffeinated that's not healthy for you in the way they do it, other than organic, from what my research has shown. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. And we will see you back here again next week. God bless you. Take care.